Today I ducked up by living in a dark bedroom for 6 years. The overhead fan in our bedroom uses one of those compact halogen light bulbs. 6 years ago the bulb burned out and got really dim, just barely aglow. I bought a replacement bulb, but when I put that one in it was also barely lighting up, so I realized the unit was bad. The fan still worked great. It literally is the best fan I've ever had because it moves a ton of air and is super quiet. The fan had also been a gift when we moved into our house. The unit cost over $400, so I didn't really want to replace it, even though our bedroom doesn't get much natural light, so it is pretty dark. So since then over the years my wife and I have had to make do with no overhead light. We open the windows during the day and at night use a combination of bedside lamps and the bathroom light. It's never really as good of lighting as an overhead lamp, so I keep some flashlights up there for when we are cleaning or looking for something, etc. After 6 years of living in the dark, this winter I just decided I would replace the damn thing. But before I did, I decided to try one last time with another bulb because, however unlikely, it's possible both bulbs I had tried were bad. So I'm up there installing the new bulb, grab the remote, the fan has a remote, and as I'm turning the light on I realize the goddamn thing is dimmable. For 6 ducking years we lived with the inconvenience of no overhead light, and the whole time it was just because the damn thing was set to dim. Duck me. TLDR. For 6 years I lived with no bedroom light because the overhead lamp was broken, but turns out it was fine, and it was just set to a dim setting the whole time. I sat at my dining room table under a very dim fan light that I could have sworn used to be brighter a year ago reading your post. I got up and hunted down the fan remote stuck forgotten in a drawer and replaced the batteries. There was not obvious slider for a dimmer, but I just held the light button down, and what do you know, the light got a lot brighter. It is fair to say that your post has brightened my life. Thanks. Is it a remote similar to this? Exactly like that. Oh my god. Just moved into a place 2 weeks ago with a fan light and remote like that, and the light was dim. I replaced the globe, but it was still dim. The globe was 100 watts, so should be too bright if anything. Was told it has been like it for years. I gave up and set up a lamp. I'm away currently, but I can't wait to get home and try and bring it to full brightness. Thanks. No problem. Just press and hold the light button. If it's all the way dim and you press it will go bright and vice versa. u/Oklahoma_beatdown u/Mobby323. You have prevented other people from 6 years of darkness. I believe this TIFU has transcended. Pass a mess up. Thanks for brightening up people's lives. Edit. Identified the wrong person. What? AWW shucks. I didn't put Op's name. I put yours instead. My mistake. Sorry, you're still my hero, Oklahoma. What did I do? The real TIFU is in the comments section. True story, I installed a food disposal years ago and forgot to knock out a plastic piece to hook to the water line. The first time the dishwasher ran after that it didn't drain. I thought the dishwasher went bad too and didn't replace it for a year and washed dishes by hand. When I bought a new dishwasher and went to hook it up to the water line I discovered my mistake. I never told my wife what the real problem was. Lol. I work for an appliance repair company. You have no idea how common that is. At least you didn't yell and scream at whoever sold it to you. Ever seen a toilet flush when the installer doesn't knock the plastic on the flange out before setting the toilet? Oh god damn it. I read that in Dee's voice. Long-term troll, your wife knew about it and was waiting for you to finally try to fix it. It's Ramon's suitcase on the stairs from Everybody Loves Raymond. When I watched that episode as a young teen, I had no idea how much I would relate to it 7 years into marriage. I watched Malcolm in the Middle when it was originally on Fox. I was like 15 when it debuted. Totally related to Malcolm. We watched it in 2017 when it was on Netflix. Saw the whole series from Hal's perspective. Very interesting flip. Simpsons had the same shift. Early episodes revolved around Bart and the target audience was kids and teens. As the audience grew older the focus has now shifted to Homer a lot more. I don't think it was necessarily the same shift. The show didn't really change its focus that much. I just saw all their problems through a Homer winner/working adult/father's perspective the second time. I think as an adult you begin to see it as children and life will drive you insane. Parents are people too, and when we are kids we don't really see that. Kinda like as a kid I watched Everybody Loves Raymond and thought Deborah was a bitch. Watching it as an adult, I am amazed she didn't snap and kill them all. Glad I didn't wait 6 years to figure that one out. When we bought a house, it only took my 5-year-old 2 months to tell us what the problem was. After he finished securing the Wi-Fi router and also setting up the media server to stream Baby Shark and, dare I say, Kayla in every room of the house. Truly the darkest timeline. I would smack some people repeatedly if I had to watch Kayla everywhere I went. You guys belong over at r/Kayla, a shining light in the darkness. OMG, that's a thing. Subscribed and thanks. I love that Winnie ass stuffy child and his equally useless and enabling parents/grandparents. Hearing him screech like a little demon when he whines RUOCE. Rand mode off. 13-year age difference between me and my next brother, so I had to see it when it first came out, and he was a little kid. Seen it a few times again recently, but that's it. My daughter is a few years old and looks annoyed whenever she hears him, haha. Grateful for that. I'm gonna be honest, I totally thought this would end in you finding a huge spider's web or rat's nest or a mass of cockroaches or something when you changed your light. I'm glad it wasn't. Your result was a lot more wholesome. I thought it was going to be a fire caused by ignoring a long-term electrical problem. I was thinking the same thing. I can't be the only one who thought that at the end op was going to end up accidentally turning the fan on whilst up the ladder with their head in between the blades. To clarify, I was relieved when the story ended without this happening. I'm not a monster. I can't be the only one who thought that at the end op was going to end up accidentally turning the fan on whilst up the ladder with their head in between the blades. Nothing would have happened though. The blade world just lightly touched him and stopped. It's a $400 fan. May have a lot of torque and razor sharp fan blades capable of severing a human head. That comes with a $401 model. Being a cheapskate saved this guy's life. The unit cost over $400. RIP op. Something else might have been set to dim too. I know it's a matter of preference, but I find bright overhead lights offensive and prefer lamplight at home. Lamps are fun and the shades give lighting a character, warmth, or color. I feel uncomfortable when I go to someone's house and they have 3 100-watt light bulbs in the overhead like a ducking interrogation room. I don't want to be able to see inside of your ear hole from across the room. Chill it out. Totally agree, but your username is giving me nightmares. Have an upvote anyway. OMGU/Mobby323 thank you. We moved into a new house several months ago. The ceiling fan light in my office works, but wasn't bright enough. I've just been ignoring it. Your post inspired me to see if it was dimmed. It was in fact dimmed. Much better now. Edit. Many people have asked, so I will explain, that the remote control has 2 buttons for the light. I assumed one would brighten and one would dim, but they both toggle. Odd, but I ignored it. Turns out if you hold the button it changes brightness. From the replies, it seems that standard behavior is a single light button that cycles through brightness. This one, the button you choose, determines the direction it starts in when cycling brightness. Also, thank you for the gilding, kind strangers. Did you all know that gold comes with a week of premium? I didn't. That's pretty kick-ass. Also 100 coins, which is enough to give silver. Nice. Holy stuff lol. It's a Reddit miracle. Reddit, bringing life-changing help to those who need it most. We did it, Reddit. I'm so proud of this community. r/wholesome Reddit. Making the world a little brighter. I see what you did there. Illuminating thread. Your night vision ability improved, so this isn't a duck up. Or he ducked up his eyes trying to see stuff in dark. That was from a TV commercial made by a lamp store. It was wildly successful and false. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. I wonder how many such claims originate from commercials, but people still generally think they have scientific evidence. Breakfast loaded with carbs, especially sugar or HFC. Good old high fructose corn syrup. Everything a growing kid needs/s. I laugh at the industry's attempt to rename HFC to corn sugar. Mayo, that title sounded way more ominous than the actual duck up. I'm glad it's not a darker story. The part one love most is that it's been 6 years. Like a month would get a slight chuckle, a year would see me expel air from my nose, but 6 years. I was 14 6 years ago, I was in grade 9, and didn't even have a job. That is how long you have just accepted this misfortune of having no overhead bedroom light, only to find out it's dimmable. What was your reaction? I'd expect at this point it wouldn't even be one of anger, just a defeated, quiet "you've got to be kidding me." 6 years. That's longer than I had been in college. What brand of light bulbs did he use? Light bulb life gets exponentially longer if they are dimmed. It's totally possible to run a bulb for 100 years if you don't care about efficiency or light output. And on the 6th year God said, "Let this dum dum have light." Lol, glad you figured it out op. Reminds me of this golden TIFU. TIFU by realizing that I hadn't even seen the rare TIFU that hit me to the core. Minor. Life changing. Completely preventable. Swirls wine glass. Sniffing. An excellent vintage. This merits a slow clap. But hey, you did figure it out in the end. It's a bright outcome. Sorry for the pun. Couldn't resist. Edit. Oh wow. My first silver and my karma doubled in 2 hours. Thank you people. Edit 2. Doc. That's not silver. Thanks for the platinum. Brightened my day at least. Lit me up inside. Yeah, it's a pretty warming story. Told this story to my parents because that's something they would do. In pure dad fashion, my dad goes, "Think of all the electricity they saved. You did end up replacing it, right?" Cause no way I would have admitted to my wife that we just had it on dim for 6 years. Is op sure he even had a wife? How could he tell it was a woman and not, like, a mop or something, if the room was so dim? You can hear complaining in a dark room. Mops don't do that. Not your brightest moment, huh? 6 years is more than a moment. This is what I needed today. Username doesn't check out. Still Reddits. That's over 2100 days. Jesus Christ my man. How bad was the headache after that face palm? How many idiots does it take to screw in a light bulb? 1, but it takes him 6 years. I probably would have done the same thing tbh. It's okay, I used to wish my car had Bluetooth for music because it had a phone function. Took me almost 6 years to realize you had to switch it to aux, then hit options and Bluetooth was in a hidden menu. I could have found this out by reading the manual, but who does that right? The sad thing is, you're not an idiot. You're a normal, functioning human being. This is the sort of thing that everybody does. How did we ever manage to build skyscrapers? How did we go to the moon? How did we make a space B&B for scientists? The abnormal freak geniuses did those things. The rest of struggle with dimmable lights. I mean, the abnormal freak geniuses probably also struggle with the lights too. Yay, but their struggle with light is figuring out how to travel faster than it. So technically speaking, today you unducked your duck up from 6 years ago. This has got to be one of my favorite posts on Reddit. Thanks for watching to the end. Remember to give a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and punch the subscribe button in the face.